A rare photo from the Bakumatsu period captures the last keepers of ancient martial arts, the last samurai, Japan, 1860s. After a 7-day strike, Woolworth store employees in Detroit celebrate their victory. They managed to raise wages by 20%, reduce working hours to 40 hours a week, and receive overtime pay. 1937. 19-year-old David Isom walked through a white-only pool, after which officials closed the facility. Florida, 1958. Maintenance of Unit 1 at the Chernobyl Nuclear Power Plant, USSR, 1980s. These frames once symbolized progress. Now, they serve as a haunting reminder of the tragedy that followed. The final of the FA Cup, Cardiff City versus Arsenal, April 23, 1927. Police at Wembley literally make their way over fans' heads to their service spots. A boy looks at a television for the first time through a store window, 1948. A friendly conversation between Soviet and German soldiers in September 1939 after the partition of Poland. Such photographs were never officially published in the USSR. A young Russian girl finally tastes freedom after surviving the horrors of Auschwitz, 1945. This haunting image serves as a powerful reminder of the millions stripped of their identity. Yet, who managed to survive the impossible? On June 3, 1980, due to a computer malfunction that reported a Soviet nuclear attack, the USA declared a nuclear alert. For 10 minutes, the world was on the brink of nuclear war. May 2, 1945, Soviet soldiers examined German awards that were never presented. Children arrested for breaking racial segregation laws. They were playing in areas where black children were not allowed. USA, 1963. Toy factory workers painting dolls' faces, 1950s. It's believed many employees were deaf-mute, often hired in such industries. A men's urinal on the streets of France, 1920s. The removal of the bodies of Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun from the bunker, 1945. Siamese Royal Guard, Thailand, late 19th century. A miner takes a photo against the backdrop of nature, USSR, 1991. Vin Mariani, a popular 19th century drink, called the favorite wine of celebrities such as Alexander Dumas, Conan Doyle, Robert Stevenson, Jules Verne, and even Queen Victoria. It contained cocaine and was banned in 1915. Japanese prisoners of war with heads bowed listened to the announcement of Japan's unconditional surrender, September 2nd, 1945. Bergen-Belsen SS women camp guards are paraded for work in clearing the dead. World War II. Members of the New York Fat Man's Club, 1904. Ancient Roman tokens used for paying prostitutes. A man guards his house during mass riots over racial segregation. Chicago, 1919. Ons van Dijk before the special court in Amsterdam, February 1947, Dutch collaborator who handed Jews over to the Nazis during World War II. She was the only woman in the Netherlands sentenced to death for collaborating with the occupiers. A couple watches the launch of the Apollo 8 spacecraft, 1968. Maranasati, a spiritual practice in Hinduism in which one must contemplate the entire process of a corpse's decomposition in order to despise death. An attempt to remove a psychiatric clinic patient from a tree, London, 1895. A demonstration of an economy-class underground bomb shelter, which could hold 8 to 12 people, USA, 1958. A resident of a small tribe in the mountains of New Guinea, shocked upon seeing a white man for the first time in his life. Until 1930, these natives believed they were the only people on Earth. Adolf and Rudolf Dassler, brothers, founders of Puma and Adidas, they hated each other so much that they didn't speak until the end of their lives. Black prisoners served disciplinary punishment, USA, 1937. The smallest car in the world, the Peel P50. It weighs just 130 pounds, 59 kilograms. Japanese gangsters, Yakuza, 1960. Horse-shaped device used to hold children still during X-rays, mid-20th century. Ambulance, Italy, 1894. The Institute of Oral Love, 1971. Black prisoners carrying out disciplinary punishment, USA, 1937. 3 years of war between these portraits. In 1941, after the attack on Pearl Harbor, anti-Japanese hysteria swept the U.S. Here is waitress Ruth Lee, born in America. Fearing she'd be mistaken for Japanese, she sunbathed on the beach alongside a Chinese flag. The collapse of a crane on the Al-Haram Mosque in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. 107 dead, 238 wounded. The crane belonged to the Bin Laden family's construction company. The longest coma lasted 42 years. An American woman who became known for spending almost half a century in a coma, Eduarda O'Bara. 6-year-old champion of a pie-eating contest, 1916. The execution of the conspirators who assassinated American President Abraham Lincoln, 1865. During the Zhengkai Marathon, Kenyan runner Jacqueline Kiplimo slowed down to help a disabled athlete drink water at hydration points, running with him for 28 kilometers. Because of this, she finished second, but did not regret her actions. On October 15, 1917, Mata Hari, a dancer of Oriental dances and the most romanticized spy of the 20th century, was executed for espionage on behalf of Germany. Mata Hari asked not to have her hands tied and no blindfold placed on her eyes. She blew a kiss to the executioners and said, "I am ready, gentlemen." During the Inquisition, women who weighed more than 110 pounds were not judged for consorting with the devil. It was believed that 110 pounds was the maximum weight a broom could carry. In 1985, a functioning unmarked plane with the remains of 18 people in military uniforms was found in the wilderness. The examination showed they had died a year earlier, and all case files were classified. One of the most influential drug barons in history, Pablo Escobar, at Disneyland, 1981. Police Sergeant Birchue stops a stolen car, USSR, 1988. Sword Swallower, 1928. An X-ray of the Sword Swallower, one of the most unique photos of that period. German soldiers lead Polish girls to execution, 1941. Experiment at Tbilisi Oncology Institute, 1967. Hiru Onoda, a Japanese soldier who hid in the jungle until 1974, believing World War II was still ongoing. Iron lungs and polio hospital wards, 1950s. Los Angeles police conducting a special operation to capture a criminal who killed an elderly woman for her wallet, 1960. Chicago explodes in rage the day after Martin Luther King Jr.'s death as people take to the streets, USA, 1968. Prince Charles looking bored at his mother's coronation, Queen Elizabeth II, June 2nd, 1953. It seems he already knew that waiting for the throne would be long. The burning of a village whose inhabitants were suspected of collaborating with guerrillas, Vietnam, 1968. German Emperor Wilhelm II visits Africans at the Hamburg Zoo, 1909. A clash between women and police in South Africa, 1962. The women destroyed and burned a brewery to protest police bans on home alcohol brewing. Above, the father's reaction to the birth of a son. Below, the reaction to the birth of a daughter. Azerbaijan, 1909. The demise of the largest dirigible, the Hindenburgs, marking the end of the dirigible building era. USA, 1937. In Italy, pasta was once considered street food. In 1908, like all good street food, it was consumed not with a fork, but directly with bare hands. Rare photo of U.S. President Woodrow Wilson in which his famously bad teeth can be seen, 1910s. German soldiers preparing the execution of Yugoslav partisan Lepa Radic, Yugoslavia, 1943. The son of a poor farmer graduated from university. His father worked in the fields for 4 years to pay for his son's education. The daily life of a theatrical agent, 1950s. Mass hysteria in England during World War II. The belief that Germans would use chemical weapons during bombings. The government distributed over 38 million gas masks to civilians. Brigitte Bardot, the sex symbol of the 60s, but beauty does not last forever. Sea lions are beaten to death with sticks on St. Paul Island, Alaska, 1895. Magician Joe Burris is lowered to a grave in a casket as he prepares to perform a stunt. Burris passed away after the casket collapsed under the weight of the concrete poured on top of it. Blackface by Eva Braun, wife of Adolf Hitler, 1937. Fingerprints became a method of identification after two people named Will West were convicted of the same crime in Kansas. They looked exactly the same, but only fingerprints helped determine who was guilty. A U.S. confectionery company stored its molasses in an enormous tank in Boston and severely skimped on maintenance. This led to an explosion, and 9 million liters of molten syrup swept over the city. People, horses, and cars were stuck fast in the molasses, and not everyone could be saved. A sign with a quote from Hitler: "Give me 5 years, and you will not recognize Germany." Berlin, 1945. Mark Twain demonstrates an experiment with high-frequency current passing through the human body, lighting an incandescent light bulb. A mischievous Nikola Tesla at the light switch, 1895. The fly whisk strike delivered by the ruler of Algiers to the French ambassador in 1827 over debt disputes served as the pretext for the French invasion and subsequent century-long occupation of Algeria, which lasted until 1962. A prisoner from the American Sing Sing prison undergoes Chinese water torture, 1860. Adolf Hitler visits the Dresden exhibition of degenerate art, 1935. Artist Marc Monnier draws during the Persian Gulf War, 1991, Kuwait. In the 1950s, New York had tunnel police. Few survivors of the Titanic disaster, USA, May 1912. A soldier from the 173rd Airborne Brigade, South Vietnam. Auschwitz, 1944. German officers and guards have fun while countless victims are killed and cremated daily in the nearby death camp. Korean soldier Yang Kyung-jong, who fought for 3 armies during World War II, Japan, the Soviet Union, and Germany. The longest recorded work career, Japanese man Shigezo Izumi worked 98 years on a beet plantation, retiring at 105. Left Mick Jagger after marrying Bianca Perez. Maura Matias, 1971. Right, Jagger running from court during their divorce, 1979. Albert Einstein fled Germany from the Nazis and hid in England. He was on the Germans' kill list, which is why he was assigned bodyguards, 1940. American scientist James Stuckey and volunteer Judy Creedon demonstrating the human body's ability to conduct electricity during a lecture in New York, 1966. In 1974, Pharaoh Ramesses II was issued a real Egyptian passport so that his 3,000-year-old mummy could be legally transported to Paris for restoration. Escape by swimming, 1966. A mother and children from South Vietnam attempt to swim across a river to escape an attack during Operation Piranha. When the photo won a Pulitzer Prize, photographer Kyuchi Sawada went searching for the family in the photo and ultimately gave them half of the winnings. Albanians storm the cargo ship Flora, demanding to be taken to neighboring Italy. Albania, August 1991. Kashmir Giants with Traveler Professor Rickleton, India, 1903. Germany wins on all fronts. Inscription on the Eiffel Tower during the occupation. Pearl Harbor, 1941. Once, the roof of an Aloha Airlines first-class cabin tore off at an altitude of 7,800 meters. The pilot managed an emergency landing. 94 of the 95 people on board survived. The body of the flight attendant who was sucked out was never found. 1988. The first Harley-Davidson motorcycle, made in 1903, had a carburetor made from a tomato can. The day Prohibition was repealed, USA, December 5th, 1933. 39-year-old cowboy from Texas, Clarence Haley, whose image was used in Marlboro cigarette advertisements, 1949. A horrific experiment from 1970 to determine whether there was a link between smoking and cancer. John F. Kennedy, Dallas, a minute before the shots rang out, 1963. Thank you for watching this video until the end. I hope these photos impressed you. Some may have made you angry, brought a smile, made you happy, or perhaps even caused some negativity. Feel free to leave your comments and stay tuned for the next part. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Bye.